Yes, sir. Live that S.I.N.Y. KaRasta Music Records. Raggies. Imänefese Qaduse. Jah Dreddz. Coming through with some good interviews. Live that S.I.N.Y. Live that S.I.N.Y. New York. Yes, I represent for my bridge Jah Dreddz on the television show. Oh, yeah, yeah, don't know. Yes, sir. KaRasta Music Records, music for the soul. Cold War, cold world, cold war. The Cold War between the US and Russia. It was war, increase of weapons of mass destruction. The Cold War between the US and Russia. It was war, nuclear proliferation. The whole world sitting on a ticking time bomb. Sitting on a ticking time bomb. Whole world sitting on a ticking time bomb. Any minute now. Bomb the Cold War between the US and Russia. It was war, increase of weapons of mass destruction. The Cold War between the eagle and the bear. Nuclear ammunition competition warfare. The Cold War. And now we colder see the far. East rising, Jack and China. Cold War. They have enough nuclear to start war and Star Wars. Is World War III, children just beware. I'm talking of the evil eagle, dragon and bear. Still Zion realms offsprings do not fear. Trust in the Most High who's always there. Always to protect us here, yeah. The whole world sitting on a ticking time bomb. Sitting on a ticking time bomb. Whole world sitting on a real overtime bomb. When you think it's peace and safety, a sudden destruction. All of a sudden destruction, yet the Holy Spirit of conquering lion is amongst us. Offsprings of Zion. Judgment in a Babylon, we soon live out of Babylon. All the cities in the world is Babylon. All the cities in the world is Adam. Rastafari say flee from the sin cities. Rastafari say exodus the bloody cities. Judgment in the places of iniquities. And soon the government gonna enforce the RFIDs into your bodies. Yeah, radio frequency identification by your microchip. Yeah, 666. Whole world sitting on a ticking time bomb. Sitting on a ticking time bomb. Whole world sitting on a real overtime bomb. When you think it's peace and safety, bomb the Cold War between the US and Russia. It was war, increase of weapons of mass destruction. The Cold War between the eagle and the bear. Nuclear ammunition competition warfare. The Cold War. So it's a cold world. So it's a cold war. So it's a cold war. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Cold War between the US and Russia. It was war, increase of weapons of mass destruction. The Cold War between the US and Russia. It was war, nuclear proliferation. Whole world sitting on a ticking time bomb. Sitting on a yeah, nature. Rastafari judgment. Jah Dreddz, live that S.I.N.Y.
Bless it.
Rasta.
Bless it.
Almost sister. What am I saying? What am I saying? So we go, right?
Yeah.
Ah, KaRasta.
Alright. Welcome back. Live That S.I.N.Y, your host, Jah Dreddz. Please, excuse me. Take this thing off. I'm here with another banger. Got a special guest here today, and I would love for you to please introduce yourself and let my viewers know. You can take that mask off.
My name is Yverose Joseph.
Okay.
I'm from Haiti.
Uh-oh, did your mic just go out? Talk.
My name is Yverose Joseph from Haiti.
Okay.
It's not working.
Maybe we can't hear it. Can y'all hear us? Oh, all right. So continue, please.
What else would you like to know
I
about
would
me?
like to know the great things that you do and a little more about you, you know.
Okay. Um, I came here when I was probably 15, 16,
Okay.
and I'm a Christian.
All right. Yeah.
I recently, 2 years, 3 years now, went back as a Christian. I was a Christian and I had left, and have fun and
Right.
come back
Hey.
back again. So I am a writer.
Yes.
Um, I wrote several books,
Oh, please. Tell
babies
us.
books,
Yes, please tell us.
adult books. Um, Sorry, we didn't have a chance to really show you some of the books. Are more about Christianity,
Right.
where things that I've been through before I came back to Christ, before I gave myself back to Christ, and other things that people needs to know,
Oh, yes.
because there's a lot of things out there we don't know.
I know
We
that they
live
can't
in,
see. Right.
we live in, but the explain it to other, they will think you crazy.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things you would like the world to know, they wondering if you're normal. With this society in America, every time you talk about something that's real, they make you feel like you're going out of your mind.
Right.
So it's best to put it in writing, because that they cannot erase. If you do a Facebook or YouTube, more of your chance it will be deleted.
Right.
But if it's your book that's out there, how can they destroy it? So this is why I chose to write more.
Right.
Because a lot of times people think it's only from one place you could get hurt, especially with what we call voodoo.
Right.
Um, Most of the time you think it's your family that's doing wrong to you because you have, but the person that probably doing you wrong is really close to you and you don't even know, and smile with you every day.
Yes.
So when I got hurt, it was a close person. Through all that, I was thinking of somebody else until God opened my eyes when I went to deep praying, and it showed me exactly through my dream who was doing me wrong.
Okay.
So this is where I started writing for, as a Christian, to let others know. But my first book was more about herbs.
Right.
It was, 'cause a lot of people, they see the trees, they buy medication, but they don't know the value of the trees. If they didn't have a value, why do you think it was there? God
That's
had
right.
planted there for you, because there's something out of it that you could use it for. Here in America, everything is money. So it makes you think that you have to constantly buy medication, while you don't really have to.
Right. The doctors don't help neither.
The tea, a cup of tea could do the same thing as some pills will do. For example, when we went to COVID, what was they using more? It was ginger, it was cinnamon, lemons.
Right.
These was like more of using orange,
Right.
but a lot of people didn't know how to use them. They were more like using medications, and that's why we have a lot of death, because most of them, they were depending on the medication.
There's always side effects with medication. Natural is better.
Yes. So that was my first book, and then after that, I started writing.
And how long ago did you write that book?
I started my first book, 2015.
Okay.
That was my first book, and I have a couple of babies book with my grandson also.
Okay, so you went from teaching them about herbs to,
Christian.
no, what was the next book that you wrote?
It was my baby's book.
Okay.
And
And please tell us about the baby's book, because we have young viewers here.
The baby's book is for little kids on how to read. A lot of times, I realize we don't really have time. We more have babysitter and send them to school, go away. Let me have my free time. But the little bit of us that actually read for our children is not many.
No, but
We
it used
handle
to
the
be a
book to
lot.
them, and back in the days, our parents, they will sit at the table with you, they will do homework with you, and they will help you. But we don't have that time. Much more, we create time to go do two jobs because the bill is so much. They pile us under the bill so that we have no time, and this is why a lot of children they lost out there
They get neglected. Yeah.
because we let babysitter raise them for them, and most
Babysitter, this, right? here.
Yes.
They don't care about that.
they don't care
That's
about
extra.
reading for
Yeah,
you.
Right, that's
No.
extra.
So I created the little book so that parents could create time and read for their children
Right.
before they go to bed. It's nice and they're not expensive. It's nice to sit and read for while you're reading. Believe it or not, the little kids, their memory is very sharp.
Yes.
You could read this today, tomorrow, after tomorrow. They memorize everything.
My niece did that. Like, we would read to her every night, and then one night she's like, I'll read the story. But she memorized it, and she memorized it by the page, but she didn't read it. She just recited it,
Yes.
from what she knows.
Yes, and when you read for them, it's good because you open their mind. Then give them the book, and they trying to figure. It's another problem I see in a lot of families, is that they put the kids in front of the TV all day when they're home.
That was like my generation growing up. The TV was more of the babysitter,
Or the music, they would put them there and let them listen to the music, and it's
But
not
now,
good.
Not to cut you off, but I see them take the phone and give them the phone quick fast and the tablet quick fast.
And the cartoon is raising our children. There's things that you're looking at your children, they looking through cartoon, they pushing it out there on them nicely. You don't even, as if you don't pay
Such a
attention.
jokey, and they make a song.
Yes, if you don't pay attention to it, you will not understand what your children are looking. And before you know it, they get attached to it, and that's it. You start losing them.
It's true, and they have no, like, they put a disclaimer there, but the kids don't read the disclaimer. They're just
Exactly.
watching for the excitement and the colors and the animation. They don't know what that says. When I was growing up, somebody would speak, and they would give a moral of the story, or they'll explain, what you just watched, parent advice, It's different now.
Yes, it's very different. So the little book is to help parents create time. Read with your children, with your baby. Take a 5 minutes. It's not gonna kill you.
And how old is your grandson?
He is now 4 years old.
Okay. Shout him out. What's his name?
JJ.
Hey.
Hey, hi JJ.
That's
Love
right.
you, grandma. Love you. Mwah.
And how did you come up with the concept of making the children's book with him?
I was looking at him, and I was reading a book. The book that I was reading for him, I didn't really like it.
Right.
And I felt that maybe I need to put another book out where other children could have access, other parents could have access. Because sometimes when you read for the kids, if the book has so much word, they get lazy.
Yeah.
But when you put a few words, it's easy for them because they don't see it as a long sentence. It's a short sentence. And it gives them access to wonder what's the next page. Including on that, it gives them access to memorize what you're saying to them. So when I looked at him, I said, I want him to be smart.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start putting the words and read it to him as well as I sell them. So that's what I start doing. I read to him, even the pictures. I look how he act, and I said maybe another children will see it, and they will like motivate themselves too.
So y'all wrote the book together, and you illustrated the book.
I took his pictures and I
Okay.
put his pictures.
Inside the book.
I will sign the book when people buy it. If I have an event, they come to the event, I sign it.
No, I'm saying inside the book is his pictures. Is your
That's
grand-
his pictures.
Okay.
All his pictures and the description of the pictures. If they online, Amazon have it.
Amazon. But where can they just reach you, like a Facebook or any email that you want to give them, and then you can give them the information, where to find a book. But
Okay.
the most important thing is for them to be able to reach you.
They could check me at Daughter's Son Boutique.com.
Okay.
That's the store. We
Okay.
have plenty other things. We have scarf. We have pillows, which if they check it, they will see we have a lot other things in there that related to Christian also.
Okay.
Bags with verse on them. They could also go to my email, which is jyverose@gmail.com.
Right. That's probably
Very
the
easy.
best place for them to go. And you just went through so many stuff. Now let's go back to the scarves. Who makes the scarves?
Oh, I have a factory that make them. I design them,
Okay.
and they make them for me.
And how long have you been designing scarves? And
A year now.
yes. So COVID did good.
Yes.
COVID quarantine did good for you.
Yes, I was able to sit down and think
That's
what's next,
beautiful,
what I
yes.
want to do next. It is good to do your own. Most of the time we are afraid.
Right.
Is that gonna pick up? You don't start big. Don't start big. Don't go and invest thousands of dollars on something. Start small, and then you move on.
Right.
Because a lot of time, our generation, they think they have to start with a big store. I want this person to see I have a big store.
That's
I
what I
have
try to tell
all
people.
this.
That is help around you, is other resources. And then it was a time they didn't have all of this modern technology, and people had to do stuff by hand. So
Exactly.
sometime-
Exactly.
Mm.
So that's why I taught young people, when I talk to them, I told them you could start very small.
They
Start
have
your
to
own.
believe. They have to believe, and it's hard work. Okay, when you put hard work in stuff, nobody never can take it away from you, and you appreciate it more also because you
Yes.
work so hard to get there.
Yes. And sometimes you will find discouraged too, but don't let it.
It's a lot. I mean, even growing up, okay, I know personally, I have friends, anything I say I'm gonna do, you ain't gonna do that. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's on the person, okay, to know what they want to do and not let nothing stop them from doing it.
Yes. Yes. Because you will find it, especially family. It's not that it's because sometimes they don't see you advancing yourself. They try to discourage you.
That, and then a lot of times people have that, it's like this thing like you're leaving them. And you're
Yes.
gonna leave them behind and they don't want
Yes.
to get left.
That's
or-
another one.
right.
Yes.
So
So it's best to go on, do your own. Time you created to be on Facebook, talking to your friend, you could invest it in your own self.
right.
Take that time. I'm not saying don't go to Facebook. You could go to Facebook, but calculate your time.
Right. Time management. Manage
Yes.
your time correctly.
Create some time for yourself and said, okay, you know what? I want to do this. Let me try to do it myself.
And know it. And know what you want to do. And, the biggest thing these days is people don't want to commit to stuff. Like,
Yes.
you got something going on, nobody commits to coming to it, and then it's the littlest thing could be an excuse. Oh, my battery was dead in my phone, so and like the littlest thing could stop them. Okay,
Yes.
and they don't understand what they missing out on, or what that experience could have did to them.
Yes.
Okay, or inspired them to do. You know.
Yes. And I want people to also know. Don't think your family gonna support you when you're doing something. They the worst that will support you.
Oh yeah.
You will create this beautiful event and invite them. They may not show up.
Yeah.
It's okay. Go on. Keep on moving. Keep on pushing.
Yes.
Because when you reach to that point, guess what? They the one that's gonna stay. Oh, that's my cousin. That's my sister. That's my
Right.
brother.
Now
Keep
they want
on
to claim
pushing.
you. Right. Now they want to claim you. And that causes a lot of mental health for people when they get discouraged like that, when nobody comes out and support them, and I just don't acknowledge that they're doing great stuff, you know.
Yes, it does.
So it goes the other way too. For my viewers, you have to support your family, support, especially if they're doing something great. If they robbing banks or something, stay away from them.
But you know the worst thing is that they will go to your page, they will check it out, not even put a little happy face or share it.
Nothing. Yep. I get the same.
Don't expect them to move up with you. Don't get discouraged by them because they will not try to raise you up. You will find one or two, but don't expect all of them to be the same.
I didn't even find a one or two yet. How many you found?
I'll find one so
Oh,
far.
okay. It's a start, right?
I'll find one
I gotta
so far.
catch up. I gotta find my one, you know.
Because sometimes it's where your friend, people that don't know you will support you faster
Right.
than your family.
And people, you know, once again, people want everything brought to them. So it's easier for them to go on there and say, oh, I'm looking at the book now.
Yes.
Instead of coming out and experiencing the whole experience, you know what I'm saying?
And they like to criticize more than push you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let that push you down. And everything in life, you will find that.
Yes. Yes.
And this is one reason I don't let that bother me.
You can't. You cannot.
You know, I love my accent. Yes. I love the way I write my books, the way I describe it, the way I design it. It is mine. If you love it, you buy it. If you don't like it, you don't have to. And if you buy it, you don't want to read it, it's your loss. Because what's inside there, you could have learned from it.
You never know what you could have picked up. You never know, you know.
Yes.
And just the story is very inspiring that you and your grandson came up with that concept and put something together and work together. That's one generation up here and one
Yes.
generation down there. So, you know,
Yes.
it's beautiful.
Yes.
And like I said, they have to come out and support more, you know.
Yes.
We don't have to tell them nothing. They know they wrong, you know. And then when you make it big, like you said, everybody know you, okay? Turn the TV up. Turn it up. She's on
Yes.
TV. Get the book. Get this. We need that now, you
Yes.
know. So, the scarves, the pillows. What's going on with the pillows? Because we want to make sure I address everything. I'm definitely...
Before we, by the end of the show, I'm not sure if you want to put a little clip of what we have.
How about this? Because I have another gentleman out there. So
Okay.
how about this? We bring you back and you bring the clips, you bring
Okay.
the books,
Okay.
you bring the whole shebang with you. How about that?
That sound good.
Okay.
That sound good.
And then we won't have to rush through, you know, we could just relax and go with the flow, you
Yes.
know.
And they could have a better view of what
Oh,
we're
yes.
talking about. Because sometimes when people see what you're talking about, then when you speak, it's two things.
Even for me as an artist, Like, I could just have my artwork laying around, but it's different when I put it up in my house and put it on the wall, and then I'm looking at it every day, you know.
It's so beautiful, right?
Right, and inspires me, you know, and then it lets me know, like, keep up, keep what you're doing.
Yes.
Doing-
Even if you don't find somebody that says beautiful, but inside of you, you know what you did.
Yes. It's very fulfilling. I'm pretty
yes.
sure writing a book was very just fulfilling. It's like people have to find these hobbies and don't think you're not good at something if you never tried
If you
it.
never try it,
Right.
exactly. Yes, you have to try. If you don't try, nobody gonna try it for you.
Yes.
It's like the food is in front of you. If you don't try to eat it,
Yeah.
the food cannot feed you.
They said you can take the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. So, you know.
So basically, that's the best part of it.
And
they also, I have one book that I written about Haiti,
yes.
about the story, because you know we have a lot of, we find more criticize about the Haitian people than the good thing.
That's true. That's
Because
true.
you know what? It's everywhere, every country you come from, they always trying to show the bad part than the good part. Unless it's a business where you go to vacation, that department of vacation, they will show you the hotel. This is business.
Right.
But if they wanted to show you the real place,
You
they
don't
show
get-
you the
right.
worst.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I have written that book about.
And what's the name of that book there?
It calls the history, the Haitian history, the true history.
I'm gonna need that book right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand, they don't know the truth about Haitian.
You know,
What they
it's,
know is Haitian do voodoo. They good at voodoo.
it's more
But
than
we
that.
all, every country has it.
Right, but it's more than that. It's more like they have us separated. Like you see in the Bible when they created the Tower of Babel, okay?
Yes.
And they separated everybody. Once it fell down, everybody was here, there, everywhere. It's not like when I was growing up and it was a little bit more multicultural. Like they really don't get multicultural unless they go to a festival, unless it's this day. Like when I was growing up, I had Dominican neighbors, I had Haitian neighbors, I had every kind of neighbors you could name. And from going to the house and being friends with the children, you know, I experienced a whole different side from just a stereotype about
Yes,
them, you know.
yes. But nowadays it's all about business. If I raise this part, people will not go. But if I show this part, people will go. But now we have little situation in Haiti. That's something else.
I know, I need a whole show for that right there also because, you know, it's current and people just know what they show on TV or what they say in the newspaper. They don't know the real story from the real people
Yes.
who's living through it.
Yes, it is sad on that point where you're looking at it and you say, "Oh, another story about Haiti again," and the truth never come out.
Right. Or it's just voodoo and that's it.
Yes,
Right.
but every culture has it. Every culture.
And it's crazy because it's like we watch people somewhere else or animals and then we see human beings suffering and it's not like, oh, let's help, let's do something. But then they're gonna put a dog on there, okay, and tell you to donate $3 every month for this daggone dog, okay, and they're coming out their pocket. So
And then the human that's suffering
Right.
is not getting the
there is no type of empathy, no like, oh, I feel it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing.
and then they wonder why people are mad. But it's all start. We have to be like family again. Back in the days, you could leave your kids with the neighbor. Now you can't even do that.
Can't, I'm telling you.
It's everything is scary like, back in at the time we are
It's
living
gonna
right
be
now.
very hard to go back to those days and times because modern technology, for one, just all of these different drugs that they put out there, and you know, it's like they make it for us to fail.
Yes.
Okay. And it's for us to be stronger and just go fight through all of that. Just
And
fight
that's what
through.
I told my daughter also. For my grandson, I always tell her, look at your son and look at others and do the comparison and then know you have to be on top of. You have to
Yes.
teach him better. Praise with him. Read.
Yes.
These, they cannot take it from your mind. They cannot take it from your brain. They can cut your brain and steal that in there.
No.
Once it's placed in there, it's plant. It's like a tree that you plant.
Right, but that's why they put the drugs for distraction or the brutality of beating people up and beating them in the head or put them in jail, which is a
I
mental.
don't even look at the news no more because when you look at it, it's so sad. It's unbelievable. You look at a human like you. How can you do that?
Exactly. So, please say your name one more time.
My name is Yverose Joseph.
Okay. And you will be back very soon.
Yes.
I'm going to hold you to your word. So
Yes.
make sure you pack everything up. When you go home tonight, pack everything so that next time you come, you are very prepared.
I will be back.
Okay? And I don't want to rush you. Is the gentleman out there already? Okay. See, that we have another guest that.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, and you will come back.
Yes.
You're always welcome. Don't step on those things there.
Oh my.
You're going to
okay.
need them. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
So you gotta let the gentleman come. So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Let's go, young man. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, my brother.
Ready.
How's everything?
Amazing.
All right, we just need you to hold the mic up
Okay.
when you talk,
Much
so
better.
so they can hear you. But just introduce yourself and let them know.
My name is Kirk Colon. I am a writer, photographer, scuba diver, cyclist, and human being.
All right. And if they not intrigued by all of that, right, your opening sentence, I don't know what to tell them.
I think I should explain how we met.
Yes,
I went
please.
to your art exhibit, and as a writer, I'm always intrigued by art and people's interpretation of art and their interpretation of their culture and everything around them.
Right.
So you do art and everything, and I see words and art and everything else.
Yes.
So when you go to see art, you suddenly become part of the art, and you interact with people, and that's what this whole planet, this whole thing's all about.
Yes.
So I've been writing a book since I was about 15.
Oh, wow.
It's called Works from Exile, and it's basically the premise behind it is everywhere I've gone, I don't exactly fit in, but I use it as a window of objectivity to see something else. So it's basically everything I just told you. It's like you see things, you interact with it, and how you interpret it is yours, but you get to describe it in your way, and sometimes you connect to people, and sometimes you don't.
Right.
But it's always a blessing. If you don't make the effort, you don't accomplish anything.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm working on a piece right now because I left Staten Island. I lived in Florida for 23 years.
Okay.
I worked in an emergency room. I was a respiratory therapist in an emergency room. I did air ambulance, did a bunch of crazy stuff. But
Live the life. That's how you
so you
live.
only got one, man.
Yes.
I scuba dived for my dinner. I spearfished.
Uh-oh.
I've
Not
looked
before you came here.
I've looked bull sharks in the eye.
Right. Not before you came here.
Oh, not today.
Oh,
No.
okay. I'm about to say where the fish at now.
Yeah, but I could tell you all kinds of fish, where to shoot the fish,
Right.
what the sharks do to you, all kinds of stuff. The piece I'm writing now is called Exactly Where You Belong. And ironically, when I left Staten Island when I was a little kid, I used to cycle all over the place.
Right.
And I left here for a couple of years, it'll be mild. And when I came back here, all my friends are like sitting in bookstores and sitting in a bookstore is fine and dandy, but it's like you're dying. You're sitting there and you're sitting there, it's like, and as a respiratory therapist, you study cardiopulmonary system, and as a cyclist, you learn to be active and do all these things. So sitting there and dying is not for me. So I started getting these dreams. I always follow my dreams. That's how I wound up in Florida. That's how I wound up doing everything. And I started dreaming about buying a bike, and everyone's like, you're 50 years old. What are you, crazy? And my friends are like, You're going to be riding in the roads. You're 50 years old. Where are you going to keep your bike? What if it gets stolen? You're an idiot. The traffic's dangerous. And then you're like, you listen to them for a couple of seconds, and you're like, I'd like to listen to you, but there's one really painful fact. And they're like, what's that? It's like, I started riding here this many years ago. I wasn't afraid of that stuff then, so I don't know why I should be afraid of it now.
Right. And that was probably worse back then. You know, the people hit you on purpose.
When you were a little kid, you didn't even care. You're just like, I'm happy to be out there riding, you know?
Yes.
And the other things, when I left here, I didn't have appreciation of anything. And all of a sudden, like, I spent, like, a lot of money on a bike. And
What kind of bike was it?
I have a carbon fiber felt.
Oh, way
FR1.
past my league.
It's way past your league, expensive. But the thing is, when I used to race and I used to ride 150 miles a week.
Oh, wow.
And I used to swim in the ocean 2 miles a week. I used to kayak 18 miles a week. I'd never home. I was a nomad. I used to keep my bike or my kayak in the emergency room and the truck. And as soon as I leave, I'd go right back to the ocean or whatever because I knew I wasn't going to go to sleep.
Right.
So I would get up like 4 in the morning. My days off, I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd swim for like an hour, 2 hours. I'd bike like 30 miles, 50 miles. I'd kayak. I'd do everything.
I'm still stuck with
one
the
of those guys
sharks.
that didn't sleep.
Right. I'm still stuck with the sharks over here. So basically, you didn't just walk on the beach and walk in the water and swim a little bit and then come back.
I have a confession. The beaches to me is an obstacle to the water.
Oh, okay. Skip that, right?
Yeah, first time I went to Florida, I just walked into the ocean and my dad was screaming like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And you're like, "I got to do this, man." Like into the water like this. My dad was a boxer,
Right.
big tough guy, and he's like, "What, are you crazy?" And you're just like in the water, taking a couple of breaths, and you're like, "Wow, this is awesome."
And what part of Florida that was?
I moved to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
I moved to Margate, and then I moved to Fort Lauderdale, and kid from Harlem gets a job at a dive shop.
Hey.
There were no kids. And I used to check all the charter boats. Any guys from Harlem? None.
Well, look, I went to Daytona Beach, and
You can get killed while crossing that beach.
right, it's totally. I didn't have that experience in the water that you had because the manatees, okay, is a manatee population, and the jellyfish, like you can't even.
Tons of them.
Right, you can't even get past to the water because you gotta cross a line of jellyfish, and they just come line up straight across the beach. So
Yeah, I've been everything dangerous you could possibly imagine has not stopped me from getting in the water. At points I used to spearfish. I used to catch lobsters. I used to free dive, no scuba tanks.
right.
And I would go through the jellyfish to go out there.
Oh yeah. No.
I'd get out there. I'd shoot hogfish. After a while, like I had to learn the fish to shoot, and you had to learn the sizes to shoot.
So
with a spear gun.
right. Thank you for explaining that. The spear gun. Okay. Do you need a license for that, or
Yes.
can anybody just go get
You
one?
can buy it, but if you shoot something without the license, you're in trouble.
You're going down.
And if you shoot the wrong size, you're in trouble.
I mean, if you shoot something little with that
No,
thing, it's
the-
just gonna
no,
explode.
no,
Ain't nothing gonna be
Yeah,
there.
but if they find the DNA or the tail, that's enough.
Right.
Working in the dive shop, all these people. I used to work in a dive shop, and people would always invite you. Hey, when did you come dive with me? And you're like, you do it a couple of times. You see somebody do like their normal stuff, and then you're horrified of them. And then you're like, oh no, I'm better off just like sleeping on land forever.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
Put
and
the
sometimes
big
like my friends,
blanket.
like the guys I dove with, I trust 100%. So one night you're going out diving with your friends and you're on the boat, and as you're pulling into the marina like a mile away, you see all these blue lights, and you're like, what the hell is that? And as you get closer, you see like the outline of a truck, and the Marine Patrol and the state trooper and everything, and then you start pulling, and then you see the boat of the marina, and you're like, I know that boat. What the hell? And then you look, and that was the guy that invited you to go to diving that morning.
Oh well, guess what? I ain't coming up. I'm swimming to the shore.
Yeah, I'm hiding my head really low. The guy had 33 illegal lobsters, like female lobsters with eggs on the bottom,
come
shooting fish and all that. And if you're on the boat, there's nothing you could say or do that's going to change a fact,
Right.
and you're going to jail with him.
Yes.
So after you learn that, you learn who you're going to hunt with, what you're going to do. And when Marine Patrol pulls up, they don't play any games.
Right. Everything has to be correct.
Oh, dude,
right?
I've been in 70 feet of water free diving, okay? And the guy pulls up to me, he goes, "Give me your gun." And you're like, "I'm in the middle of nowhere." He's like, "Give me your gun. Where's your license?" And the license is paper, so you're gonna keep it in your wetsuit or whatever.
Laminated or something.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I laminated, and he's like, "You need the paper one." And you're like, "Who takes the license paper? What are you crazy?"
It's inside the lemon. Let me wait.
No,
Let
no.
me take the lamination
He
off for
wants the
you.
paper one.
It's inside the
So he's
lamination.
like, where's your other one? And you're like, it's in the car. So he puts you in the boat, takes you to the beach, has Florida Highway Patrol escort
they're the
you to your
worst.
car,
Yeah, they're the
right?
worst.
Get your driver's license and your thing to make sure who you are and your fishing license. Takes your stuff and then leaves you back on the beach while all your stuff is all over,
Yes.
over there.
Yes,
Terrible.
especially a New Yorker. Like they
Oh
do.
yeah, the voice and the
Yes,
accent.
the accent.
The suntan didn't help any at all.
Ah, shit. I'm a person, when I first got to Daytona, I was very antisocial. Every morning I would get up 7, 6, walk 2 miles to the beach, stay to the beach, all the way till the sun came down, come home, take a shower, go to bed, and get up and do it the next morning again.
That's what I started doing when I got there, man.
Yeah, because it's such a difference from Coney Island Beach with needles to everything you could name washing up on the shore.
Right.
When you got a nice beach and a boardwalk and a game room and
Please.
just civilized people that's not there rowdy, just you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah, the majority of the time you come in the water here and you're like, in 20 minutes I'm gonna dissolve. So
Yes, you don't know what to expect. I don't trust these jellyfish because they might be on some of this fentanyl or some of this,
Definitely
these
on
other
something.
drugs right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You know.
And like I said, when I got to Florida, it's like, you're right. You don't know how to react, and you don't know who to talk. And the funny thing was, like, my second week in Florida, I used to go to this little laundromat, and I was a runner in college and high school.
Oh, okay.
So I come out of the laundromat, and I got this big bag on my back, and I hear you, and I'm like, stay where you are. And I'm like, who the hell are these guys? You know, you're from New York, you're cops. So I'm like, let me mess with them. I start hauling ass. So I ran for like 20 minutes.
Oh,
Being a sprinter, then made a left on my street, went behind my yard, jumped over my fence, and sat there for like 15 minutes.
And they caught up.
Oh, about an hour later, they're like, what the hell are you running for? I was like, I don't know who you are.
Okay.
I don't. They thought I was an illegal.
Oh, come on now.
And you have a bag and you don't know what's in it. It's like, I just left a laundromat. What did you think?
I know, but then, like, if you...
And then there's 30 guys trying to catch one skinny guy.
Okay.
And you're carrying like 20 pounds of laundry and they can't catch you? These guys are supposed to be protecting you?
How did they even get past to get the license?
Yeah, it's like all they need,
get the job. It's like,
and then in Fort Lauderdale, that was a period when the cops were just shooting instead of asking questions.
oh yeah.
That was a whole big.
I was down there in the '90s. I went to college in the '90s down there, and I'll never forget they had that sheriff that was on that highway that was just pulling over people, pulling over people. And he was like, I would watch cops TV show, and they would show this one sheriff doing this on live TV.
And it would be right in the county you lived in.
Right, and he was just a racist thing, but they couldn't get him out of office because nobody was running against him.
Yeah, because and there was an instance in Fort Lauderdale. I went to a party, and I had two friends. One guy's name was John, the other guy's name was David, that lived upstairs. They went to a party, and everyone's got to flex their muscle at the party. And my friends were just like, oh, hell with it, we're not going to bother. And somehow it got to, the rumor was he was going to get his gun. And the guy was like, he has to be at work at 2 o'clock in the morning. He needs to go to sleep. I don't know what you're talking about. The cops got the, quote, information he was going to go get a gun, went to the house, knocked on the door. When he went to go open the door, supposedly he had a gun. Okay?
Did they kill him?
They shit.
Oh, shucks.
When they did the retracing of the shots, he didn't have a gun, he didn't fire a shot, and all the bullet holes were going one way.
Oh, wow.
And, that's that. When you see that, when you're across the street from that, you're like, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because I don't,
Yeah, I
don't
don't
want
know.
any trouble, and I don't need any drama.
What it is with the law is like they should say above the law because they think they're above it, and it's crazy. Like you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but it's the other way around.
I've heard that for some reason. I just never believed it. It's like the Clash, know your rights.
Yes, we know that, but that
doesn't mean it.
Right. In their minds, no, you're guilty.
Yeah,
you did it.
Period.
You did it. So.
And it's kind of bizarre because the other thing was the first quote racial incident I had when I was in Fort Lauderdale. I went to a bar with 3 of my friends that were stewardesses, and I went to this bar. I used to go to this bar all the time, and this guy's like, we don't like we don't like you with our women. And I'm just like, comedian. I'm like, you bought them? Can I see the receipt or whatever? And next thing you know, we go outside and they like throw a bottle. And I'm like, what the hell's going on there?
You have to watch it. It's swamps, it's okay, it's gators, it's a whole
Yeah, and
bunch
there's
of
really rude people over there
Oh,
on
yes.
top of that. So
Very
I'm
rude.
behind the bar. The bottle hits the dumpster. I tell the girls to get in the car. And then next thing you know, I'm getting punched in the side of my head. And I'm like, I guess this is like the rudest awakening I've ever had in a while. So I'm not going to tell the girls to get out of the car. I'm going to keep driving. And you just pick the smallest guy. You're like, every time I get hit, guess what?
Hey, somebody got to
Right,
get
somebody
hit,
got to get payback.
The
And then
New
next
Yorker
thing you
has to
know,
come out. That's why they say we New
Yeah.
Yorkers. The New Yorker got to come
Broward
out.
Sheriff responded, and the guy's like, "You come here," and I'm like, "Me?" Gives me my driver's license. All three guys run away. Okay.
There's a lot of tension down there, racial tension.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People don't understand that Dixie flag that they
That's real.
Right, that they
That's
made
way
them
real.
get rid of. It was all the way down there.
Yeah.
Okay. They believe those are the good old boys or whoever the Proud Boys, whatever they want to call themselves now, the KKK, whatever they want to call themselves now. That's where they are, and
Very
it's-
comfortable too.
right, and is so crazy because with Trayvon Martin.
Oh, that's insane.
Okay, and the stand your ground law. Where else in
Baloney.
America is they gonna have that type of law where you could just shoot somebody just because you don't like their skin color?
You're
Okay.
right.
Right. You know
And
what
it's
I mean?
convenient because you fired first.
Right.
What?
Right. So like people have to be more
Cognizant.
aware. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This stuff
crazy.
is going on. Okay, all around us. Okay. I have to swim through it. I might as well become a diver and go to the
Oh, please. Yeah. And every state you go to, it's even more bizarre. This is crazy because in Fort Lauderdale, I worked in an emergency room, and you would hear stories and you'd be like, what the hell? And there was this one story about these guys that didn't like people of color, to put it mildly, and they drove big pickup trucks. And on the back windows, the sliding windows, there was a big E on the back of the trucks. And you're like what's going on with that? And it's the white E, whitey. And you're like, what? So, we were in the Everglades a couple of times and we were airboating, and these guys are on an island. Big pickup trucks, they didn't get there by, they got a little convenient house and everything like that. And you're feeding gators on one side of the lake, and then you look and you see all those trucks, and you're like,
Yeah.
maybe this isn't the smartest thing.
To get that spear gun ready. Okay.
There's too many of them, man.
Hey, once one starts screaming, they'll see you ain't playing
Yeah.
with them.
But it's like when you see it, you're like, because you hear stuff all the time.
And just that type of atmosphere, like people don't understand. You think we go through something here, but imagine you're in an atmosphere where it's swamp, it's gators,
Your
and
cell
it's
phone
that
don't
right,
work.
and it's that on top of that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And nobody knows, like you're in the boondocks.
Yeah.
Nobody, they say if the tree fall, will somebody hear it?
Yeah, depends
Okay.
who that person is.
Right. Nobody's hearing that right
Oh,
there.
yeah, that just,
Because
I didn't hear nothing.
right, because everybody around there has that same hatred in them. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even when you look at like the lynchings, and they brought their kids out there, they brought their families there, they
Yeah.
took body parts, the kids is there with body parts, the kids is there participating. So,
Yeah, it's kind of scary. That whole Alabama
Very.
thing, 1950s.
very. But in 2021, you're still experiencing that in certain areas that you go to.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Florida is one of those areas that you really have to stay on your P's and Q's while you're over there.
I worked in Florida Medical Center, which is in Fort Lauderdale. It's like it's like the middle income neighborhood, but most of the people there are Caribbean and blacks from around the world, India, or
Right.
stuff like that. And the hospital there was like all beat up and stuff like that. But you learned like from the older people, because they respected everybody, and
yeah.
that's how you're polite. And then you drive like 3 or 4 blocks out of there, and everyone's got the big rims and stuff like that, and they'll kill you just for looking at them. And you're like, I drove this to get to work it didn't faze me. One morning I was leaving at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and this guy's leaving in one of those cars with the rims, and the guy got a flat tire. At 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like,
wow.
the flat tire's flat. I'm like, The guy goes in his car, and I'm like, what is he going to do, get a jack?
Who knows, okay?
So he gets out of the car, he's like in a jacket, and then he realizes, it's a little white kid, he's like, just realizes the neighborhood, he's like, yo, like, get in, let's go.
But on top of that, people don't understand how serious the gators are there. Like, to get to Fort Lauderdale, you have to go through Gator Alley.
Well, it depends which area you go.
Oh, well.
Because some people smart come from Miami.
Right, I take the adrenaline rush, drive through Gator Alley, drive through the gators, you know what I'm saying? And that's just me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a New Yorker. And, you know, the craziest thing I seen down there was the plane crashed in the Everglades. The people survived the plane crash.
And had to survive.
And then the snakes and gators and everything just attacked them and ate them. And it's always puzzled me, like, how do you survive something like that and get on ground? Right. Yeah. And then, it's another terror, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
there's a hospital in Hialeah called Palmetto General, which is a hospital I used to work at. And you're not going to believe this. The reason they built the hospital was because an Eastern Airlines jet crashed in that site.
Oh, wow.
And the people lived, and they had to go out there and get them.
I'm a first responder. I know you have to...
oh, please. I've done it all.
Takes a lot, right. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what you're going to walk into.
You got to do your job, and then on top of that, you got to walk in there and go, what the hell's going... And you can't panic, because once you panic, it's all over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because people see that on your face, you're like, no.
Yes. No, not only that. Sometimes the victims, if they see you looking crazy...
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
They might give up, like, the head hanging off, the neck is chopped up, and you looking crazy. They like, oh, is that bad?
Yeah, my first time in the emergency room, I was working, and this guy came in with open head trauma. And the brain has... I don't know if you know anything about the brain. The brain has no nerve endings. So this guy comes in the emergency room, his head is swollen.
He don't feel none of that.
He don't feel nothing. And he's talking. And I'm just like, and he got catapulted through the windshield. So pieces of glass in his skull, and the doctor's like, Mr. Colon, I'm like, yeah. He goes, would you do me a favor? I'm like, hey, would you go get the suture kit? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, and could you look this way? And I'm like, he goes, come here. I'm like, yeah. He goes, for every second that you're freaking out, he's dying. So when you want to get with the program, so I'm pulling the glass out of this guy's head and everything, and I'm like, and then later on, they took him to surgery and everything like that, and we got the guy's chart. Ready?
Yes.
This guy, 5 years ago, was in a car accident. He was ejected from the car, just like now, for not wearing a seatbelt. 7 months ago, he had malfacial surgery, which means he had his face reconstructed.
And now it's destroyed again.
And the surgeon looks at me and goes, you think he would have got it right the first time?
Hey, I'm so bad. Look, that's a doctor that cares, because another doctor had been like, cha-ching, okay?
Money-making opportunity.
Yes, okay? All right, now we'll fix that, you know?
But a sense of humor I learned above all. I never panic. I can always crack a joke on anything.
You have to relax, but you still have to stand your ground.
Oh, absolutely.
Also.
I stand my ground always.
But you have to relax. Yes, you have to relax. You can't take life too serious, because it's already serious. Okay?
Oh yeah. The other things when you're spearfishing.
Uh-oh.
If you shoot something, well, I used to spearfish off my kayak.
Are you spearfishing out here?
There's nothing out here.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you know. Okay. So
but there's real fish, where I come from, in the real end, and so I would shoot like whatever I wanted, and then my big bright orange kayak was 13 feet. And you start swimming back to when you shoot something, you have to power it, you have to cripple it first.
Right.
So it doesn't swim around, doesn't do those nice little noises or those electrical impulses. So you brain it, you hold it by the optic nerve, and the fish goes limp, and you start swimming your kayak, and all of a sudden you can't see your kayak.
And that's that you've got the...
Yeah. And as you get to your kayak, you don't see your kayak, and you're like, what the hell? And then you look and you see, wow, suddenly my kayak has a pectoral fin, which is one of the fins on the bottom, and then the dorsal fin on the top, and you're like, oh, I have company.
Was it a whale?
The man in the gray suit.
Which one?
Bull shark.
Oh, boy.
So you're like, okay. So you can't panic, because first thing they do is sense your electrical responses in here.
Uh-oh, they're telling us be ready. The time goes so fast.
Darn. It
But
happens.
we will bring you back.
Thank you, I
Okay? Because
appreciate it.
I didn't get to see none of your stuff that I told you to work.
I brought everything.
I know. Thank you, my brother. I
Anytime.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Don't move yet.
Okay.
We just got to close it out. He's going to perform for us right here. Just let him get the mic.
Yeah, sure. I wanted to hear stuff anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, you know, reality music. You can hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, he tall.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you know, it's reality music, you know. It's not the thing you usually hear on the radio, you know. But if you know about Rasta, then you must know, you know. It's reality music. Some would say controversial. It's the real news still if you check it, you know. This one called Red Alert. KaRasta music, records music for the soul. Big up follower sound. Niggas near. Yeah. Raggies, Jah Dreddz, here what? Oh oh. 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 Lamentation in the earth, red alert. Red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert. Judgment in the earth, red alert. And it's written that the judgment red alert. And the moon shall become red alert. And the high alert color red alert. And the highest color red alert. Check the traffic signal, red alert. Check the Ghana flag, red alert. Check the original Ethiopian flag, red alert. Check the rainbow spectrum, red alert. And the highest color red alert. Color with the longest wavelength, red alert. And the king come dressed in red alert. And his eye color flaming red alert. Red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert. Judgment in the earth, red alert. Since Gentiles surround Jerusalem, red alert. The world in a bigger problem, red alert. So-called Jewish settlement, red alert. They claim the land belongs to them, red alert. They claim Yahweh promised it unto them, red alert. But the Arabs were there before them, red alert. The black Israelites even before them, red alert. The black Cushites even before them, red alert. Yes, the Ethiopians before them, red alert. Ask them who built up Jerusalem, red alert. A set of black people God's chosen, red alert. So who are these Caucasians who came in, red alert? Claiming Judah, claiming Benjamin, red alert. When Judah and Benjamin were black skin, red alert. These some Kaza wolves in sheep clothing, red alert. Some revenant wolves in sheep clothing, red alert. The world been talking about disarmament, red alert. Tell them go check Israel's basement, red alert. Who stockpile of nuclear weapons from when, red alert. One of their own blew the whistle on them, red alert. Mordecai Vanunu blew the whistle on them, red alert. And for 18 years they imprisoned him, red alert. Called him a traitor and they brutalized him, red alert. The world been talking about disarmament, red alert. Tell them go check Israel's basement, red alert. Red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert. Judgment in the earth, oh oh, oh oh, oh oh, oh oh, oh oh, oh oh, oh. Follow our sound, red alert, red alert, red alert. Red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert. Judgment in the earth, red alert. I hope you get what I'm saying, red alert. Ain't no joke, ain't playing, red alert. What, you wanna take the microchip, red alert? Better get out of Sin City quick, red alert. Cause the damn Sin City will sink, red alert. On sinking sand it was built, red alert. Red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert. Woo, 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 woo. Red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert, red alert. Yeah, nature. Rastafari, live that sinny, live that S.I.N.Y. Jah Dreddz, fire, it's hot. It's hot. Boom. Rastafari.